Chapter 11. Did I scare all of you? The atmosphere in the house slowly chilled. The relationship between Siya-hun and herself seemed to return to the way it was before she was reborn. The fear for the person in front of her started creeping back into her body. Fortunately, at this moment, a pair of footsteps broke the deadlock. Shu Yi brought with him a group of gardeners, florists, and builders into the dining hall and spoke, "Ninth Master, the repair works in the garden, Shu Yi broke off mid-sentence and saw a girl sitting on the left of Siya-hun. He paused momentarily while the workers behind him gave each other puzzled looks. He wasn't just surprised because of this girl's beautiful appearance, but everyone knew that the master had a serious case of OCD and was disgusted with women. There was only one woman in the world that the master could tolerate, and that was none other than Ye Wanwan. So who exactly was this woman? Ye Wanwan looked at Shu Yi and the workers. She took a bite of the prawn dumpling and said apologetically, I forgot to put on my makeup today. Did I scare all of you? Ye Wanwan! Upon hearing this familiar voice, everybody, including Shu Yi, was flabbergasted. That ugly creature looked appalling, but had a great voice, like a clear stream in Jiangnan, crystalline and bright. Yet this beautiful voice caused all of them to have a reflexive reaction of revulsion. After all, ever since this woman entered Jin Garden, all these people had suffered as well. The girl that appeared beside the master now, as pretty as a lotus flower that rose from beneath the water, was actually Ye Wanwan? Seeing everyone's reaction, Ye Wanwan thought seriously, "Surely I look better than before, right? I remember all of you were most surprised when I dyed my hair green. Maybe I should change it back tomorrow?" They weren't surprised. They were obviously horrified. Shu Yi finally came around and shook his head fervently. No, miss. You look really good like that." Little did he expect that Ye Wanwan looked like this without makeup. So all along this Miss Ye didn't have issues with coordinating colors, but actually had mental issues? Master's eyes must be really sharp. How is it possible that he was able to see her natural state through her makeup that's as thick as a wall? If Ye Wanwan knew what was running through Shu Yi's mind, she would definitely tell him that his master didn't need to see through the wall. Instead, his master had a fondness for the wall. "Are all of you here to discuss the repair works of the garden?" Ye Wanwan asked. Shu Yi nodded instinctively. "Yes." Ye Wanwan then probed, "May I give you some suggestions?" She remembered that aside from leaving, Siya-hun would give in to any requests of hers. But hearing Ye Wanwan's request, Shu Yi felt like killing himself. He immediately turned to Siya-hun for help, hoping that he could decide for himself. "Ninth Master, please, I beg you, do not let her destroy the garden anymore," Siya-hun replied. Ye Wanwan with 3 words, "Up to you, Shu Yi." Fine. Elle already knew it would be like that. Shu Yi could only accept his fate miserably and asked, "Miss, what requests do you have?" Ye Wanwan thought carefully. "I don't like the roses and lavender. Could you change that plot to sunflowers instead?" Shu Yi was speechless for a moment. He asked instinctively, "Miss, you like sunflowers?" Compared to burn those flowers or pull all of them out type of requests, Ye Wanwan's current request was too normal. Ye Wanwan thought for a moment and replied, "They're so-so." Shu Yi didn't understand. "Then why?" Ye Wanwan's eyes brightened. "So in the future, the seeds can be fried and eaten." Shu Yi. Siya-hun. Ye Wanwan then pointed to the far side. "Also, that pond over there, don't keep those dead expensive kois anymore. They are so weak and inedible. Put in some grass carps, silver carps, little sea shrimps. Change the rose pergola to grape pergol.a. Actually, you can grow some sweet potatoes too." Chapter 12. Did I starve you? Also, the lawn in the east is burnt anyway, so why don't we plow it to grow some cabbage since the soil is fertilized? Cabbage. Shu Yi was speechless, and Siya-hun's expression was also unreadable. Ye Wanwan lowered her voice and asked meekly, What's the problem? Si Ye-han tapped the white porcelain mug and looked up. Am I starving you here? Ye Wan choked. No. Ever since she was little, she didn't lack for clothes or food. At Si Ye-han's place, this was also true. The chefs at Jin Garden always came up with different creative foods daily just to get her to eat more, because if she ate less than the benchmark Si Ye-han had set for her, those chefs would be fired. But she didn't know what was wrong with herself either. She had a habit of hoarding food like a hamster. The more food surrounding her, the more secure she felt. In her previous life, due to Si Ye-han's constant monitoring, she felt dejected and slowly lost her appetite. With such a rare chance to be reborn, aside from dolling herself up, she wanted to have good meals. Otherwise, it would be a waste of this second chance. After a long time, Si Ye-han looked at Shu Yi. Make the changes accordingly. Shu Yi replied with an ashen face. Yes. He was simply too gullible, thinking that this woman had really changed. She wants to change the prestigious private Jin Garden into a vegetable farm. This is insane. Ye Wan jumped for joy when Si Ye-han agreed to it. She squealed excitedly. Great, this way we can have good food when autumn comes. When autumn comes. Hearing these 3 words, Si Ye-han's expression changed slightly, his eyes as well. The Ye Wan from before only thought of running away from him. Since when did she think about the future? For the whole day, Ye Wan discussed in detail the crops to grow in each area with Shu Yi and assigned jobs to the servants. When evening came, the Jin Garden that Ye Wan destroyed looked completely brand new again. Cabbage in the east, sunflowers in the west, the walls had newly built grape shelves. Those expensive plantations had been replaced by vegetables and fruit. The water in the pond had been changed, and the beautiful carp and live prawns were swimming inside happily. Every flower and plant in the old Jin Garden was rare, and so priceless that even the workers had to be wary of every step they took. Otherwise, they could accidentally kill a plant worth hundreds and thousands of dollars. Now, although it had become a vegetable plantation, any accident would still be frowned upon. Maybe she had done too much physical work that day, but Ye Wan's appetite was back, and she ate heartily during dinner. To create change, she had to have a talk with him. Si Ye-han's was on the top floor, the room that she would never go near previously. Dong dong dong. Ye Wan stood nervously in front of the door, took a deep breath, and knocked. Squeak, the door opened, and a pair of cold, deep eyes greeted her. Hey, I have something to discuss with you. Is this a convenient time? The man seemed to have expected her arrival. Without a look of surprise, he turned and walked back into the house silently, indicating his approval. Ye Wan quickly kept up with him. I must settle this by tonight no matter what. Chapter 13. Eating Sweet Melons. This was the first time Ye Wan entered Si Ye-han's bedroom. She took a step in and immediately felt a kind of overwhelming oppression. The room had a depressing color scheme, and in her field of view was a superior audio system playing soothing music in the background. The curtains were drawn completely, and the whole room felt shut in. There was a great abundance of alcohol in the room. A row of various hard liquors was neatly lined in a huge alcohol cabinet. Other than Si Ye-han, there was someone else in the room. Si Ye-han's hypnotist. From the looks of it, Si Ye-han was preparing for bed. Well, so much fuss just to go to bed. Seeing that he slept quite soundly last night, it was probably due to the lack of sleep for the past 3 nights? As Ye Wan entered, the hypnotist left. Under the warm glow of light above her head, Si Ye-han walked over to the bar, sat down, and poured himself a glass of red wine. Go on. Ye Wan had already prepared a script earlier, so she didn't hesitate and went straight to the point. I wish to talk about our relationship. Our relationship? The man raised his brows, expressing interest in the topic. Ye Wan nodded and said in a serious tone, Yes, Si Ye-han, what do you think about our current relationship? Si Ye-han, you belong to me. Ye Wan. Ye Wan indicated that she couldn't continue this conversation that had just started. It was like the question she asked him before about why that person must be her, and to that he replied, "Because it has to be you." She couldn't comprehend any of his answers. Ye-Wan forced herself to ignore the man's reply and continued, "See, Ye-Han, all this time, I didn't understand why you fancied me. With your status, you're able to get any girl you want. Even if you like someone that is fat or weird, there are countless girls who would be willing to cater to your taste. No matter what the original reason was, since we can't change that at this point, why don't we try changing our relationship? You've always been so angry that I kept running away, but that was only because nobody could tolerate being monitored, controlled, and having their freedom taken away. The more you try to control and force me, the more I try to escape. As the saying goes, a melon forced off its vine is not sweet. I am sure you know this principle." The man listened silently until she finished speaking. He was resting his head on his hand lazily and had another hand swirling the wine glass. He replied, "Whoever said that I liked sweet, she understood what Si Ye-Han meant. As long as she was his property, nothing else mattered, including the wishes of this property." Since the conversation had reached this point, there was no way of continuing. Time went by slowly. Unsure how long they were silent for, Ye-Wan suddenly stood up and walked towards him. Si Ye-Han didn't say a word, and his face remained indifferent as he watched her approaching. Finally, Ye-Wan stood in front of the man. She leaned towards him all of a sudden, and her soft lips landed on the man's slightly chilled lips. "You, sure?" The Gear's tactfully soft voice stuck to his lips. She asked with an innocence that was alluring, "Are you sure you don't like sweet melons?" Chapter 14. Rotten Melons. Si Ye-Han's pupils constricted the moment the girl's soft lips touched his. His eyes became darker than usual, as if to suck her soul in. This voluntary kiss that had never happened before was so beautifully sweet that his heart started to palpitate. "That's all?" The man's voice was a little hoarse with an edge of danger, obviously unsatisfied. Ye-Wan coughed lightly. "This was just a preview. I can't give you any more since I haven't grown into a sweet melon." "Oh," the man gave a chuckle. Ye-Wan retreated a safe distance away from the man's searing stare. Pushing on, she continued, "Actually, all I want is to be a normal girl and learn to fall in love. I promise I'll never run away again. You also shouldn't make me do what I don't want to do and be angry and scary all the time, all right? That gu yueze before, my brain was clamped by an obsession with that man, but I understand now. I feel that with ninth master's status, as long as we regain a normal relationship, I can definitely grow to become a sweet melon with time." Ye-Wan spoke till her tongue was parched. "Actually, sweet melons are quite delicious. I think you should give them a try. How would you know whether you like them or not if you haven't? Tried them, right?" She waited anxiously for his reply. Si Ye-Han smiled vaguely at the little melon seedling, trying so hard to promote herself. He asked faintly, "What if it becomes rotten?" The corners of Ye-Wan's lips lifted upwards. She wiped off her sweat and said, "It won't happen, it won't happen. I'll work hard and grow. I'll definitely become a beautiful sweet melon." A moment's passed in silence, and just as Ye-Wan was about to give up, the man finally relented. "Fine." Ye-Wan was stunned for a while before responding to Si Ye-Han's agreement. Her face was filled with joy. "You agree? So I'm allowed to go back to school? Can I stay in the school's dormitory like the other students? Can I do whatever I want to do? Then I am off to pack my things. I'll move into the school's dormitory tomorrow, but I'll come back and visit the vegetable garden whenever I'm free." After finishing her sentence, she skipped away happily and quickly in case Si Ye-Han changed his mind. Looking at how eagerly the girl left, Si Ye-Han's expression turned gloomy, as if he regretted his decision immediately. But when his fingers touched the remnants of her soft kiss on his lips, the gloominess in his eyes dissipated. "Wan, this is the last time I am trusting you, and it is also your final chance. If you betray me, that actually worked. This feels like a dream. Then her cell phone started ringing. It was an incoming call from Shen Meng-chi. Ye Wan lips turned into a scowl and answered the call. Hello? Once the call was connected, Shen Meng-chi's exasperated voice came through the receiver. Wan, I kept calling you. Why didn't you answer? Are you all right? Why didn't you leave with young Master Gu? Did you know how much effort I had to put in to convince young Master Gu? I can't explain it properly over the phone. We'll talk about it in school tomorrow. What? Mr. Sai didn't ground you? He's even allowing you to go to school? Shen Meng-chi's tone changed. After seeing that Ye Wan wanted to elope with Gu Yueze, how could Si Ye Han let it go so easily? 0. Has Si Ye Han started to dislike so he doesn't want her to live in the Jin Garden anymore? Ye Wan refused to go into the details and simply replied, Yup, I'll be moving back to the dormitory tomorrow. Shen Meng-chi asked anxiously, Was it because Mr. Si saw you and Gu Yueze together and misunderstood, so he's chasing you out? Ye Wan smirked and took her time to reply, How'd you know Si Ye Han saw me and Gu Yueze together? He wasn't home those few days, don't you know that? I was guessing. Anyway, tell me more when you come back to school. You want to listen to the next episode? Comment and like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.